Good afternoon. Today is the 10th of January and this is a 3.5 year or 34,000 mile ownership report of this 2009 SsangYong Tivoli 1.6 Ultimate Manual. Got this car in July 2020. SsangYong has recently been renamed to KGM. The KG Group are a large Korean company who've just bought SsangYong, and so the division that makes cars is called KG Mobility, but KG Mobility doesn't sound like a great name on the continent in here, so they've actually decided to name it KGM. So SsangYong name is no more for cars, although obviously this car has a 7-year warranty, so the dealers will still be able to work on them and things like that. And I have driven a 2023 facelift one of these, 2024 model year. I did a review of that back in September, which I will link to in the description below. First facelift of the car occurred in about 2020. I drove one of those actually that same year they came out, so this is a late pre-facelift car. The Ultimate spec actually had a different front bumper configuration from some of the others, and this model came out in 2018 to replace the ELX at top of the line, although there are some differences between a 2018 and 2019 model. You'll see that the rear door is very slightly different coloured to the rest of the car because I had to have some paintwork done in it, and unfortunately that's sort of messed it up slightly. But apart from that, the exterior is very good. It's in very good condition at the moment. So we covered 40,000 miles in the car. We got it at 6,000 miles, and pretty happy with it really. Boot is nice and big, although there is this very big lip in here. Some of the Tivolis you can get like a sort of luggage board to sort of level the boot out, but we never had one of these in here. We have got a spare wheel in here, which is fantastic. I like cars with spare wheels. It's just a space saver, but all Tivolis have that, which is brilliant. Which more manufacturers did that. You can actually recline these seats if you want to, sort of forward and back. You can put them kind of sort of there, or you can put them down sort of there. It doesn't really matter. We normally leave them like that actually because they're a bit more comfortable. One thing you've got to be very careful with the low blind, which you don't get on the base model Tivolis, is that you don't put it in the wrong position, because you can shear the end off, which I have done. That's why we know about it in the car. I need to actually fix that at some point. If you want a used low blind for one of these, they're £120, so don't do that. Don't shear the plastic end off. That's my advice. 12-volt socket in here, bungee cords for putting something out. I want to put a bottle of whiskey, I think, actually, in those, which is quite handy for keeping items sort of secure. And you can take these things off as well if you want to. It's about 400 litres in here. Different people over here said different things about the boot size. I think it's about 400 litres, which is good. Ultimate spec car means you've got a reversing camera, which we've just washed. I've just been to car wash, and also some parking sensors. One thing I would say, I just forgot to say this first. These little screw things here, which hold the number plate lights in, they are an absolute utter pain. They rust in place, and quite a few people who own Tivolis have had problems taking those out. I've had to drill the threads out. So before they get rusty and horrible, take those screws out and put some better ones in. That's my advice. Keyless entry in this car. Loads and loads and loads of room. It's one of the favourite things about this car is the amount of room that you get in the back. It's really, really spacious for this size and this class of car. Although I'm afraid we lost bungee cords at some point. Bungee cords? Yep. And you can lose them. I don't know why SsangYong decided to do that. Not really sure. But I get in, you can see I've got loads of room. Headroom is really good. Get 3 in the back if you want. Get full leather upholstery on the Ultimate. You can get it in beige, but this one's black. And yeah, that's really nice. Big armrest. Courtesy light. You don't get those in all cars actually of this size and price. You don't get necessarily courtesy lights at the back. You don't get rear armrest. You don't get full leather upholstery. this is all those, and you even get some fabric on the door card. A £35,000 Skoda Karoq does not have fabric on the door card, only the little sort of armrest on it. This car was £19,000 new. We paid, I think, 13,000 something for it back in 2020 when it was just under a year old. And yeah, it's not the nicest door card, I suppose, but you know, for the price we paid and the price that you can buy one of these for, it's pretty good. Very, very big door bins at the back, tinted glass, all these little things you actually miss if you don't have them on certain cars. And the MG ZS, even like the facelifted model, one of these, which was sort of around the same kind of money for the top model, you don't get any of that stuff, apart from, I think, the fabric on the door cards, but no real leather on those either. It's all faux leather, which, depending on your point of view, you either like it or you don't. So, let's just get in. I can see somebody's coming down the road, so I'll have to pull the door with this hand. There we go. So, all sorts of exciting things going on in here. Keyless entry, so I don't have to fiddle with the key to put it in. Weirdly, in a manual Tivoli, you've got to press the brake and the clutch to start the car. It's rather annoying. We've got some classic FM action going on. That takes a while to load. This is a 7-inch touchscreen in this car with TomTom sat nav. Just turn that down so don't get any copyright infringement, and turn that down as well. You can see actually the centre console for the pre-facelift Tivolis is unusual, like this sort of heating ventilation system. It looks very intimidating. This doesn't know what to do, but you get used to it. Temperatures on there for both sides, dual zone climate control. That's actually the button for the air conditioning, that's the button for the fan speed. It's not too bad, just for different modes you have to use that button, which is a bit confusing. And then the demist is there and reheated window, and you turn it off. It's not actually that bad. It looks crazy. Because this is a 2019 Ultimate, we've got things like Android Auto, Apple CarPlay in here. Although it's a 7-inch screen, so it's not the best, but that's a really, really good feature. There's also a heated steering wheel, and lane keeping assist, and different steering modes. I'll just show you the steering modes. I normally put it in sport because comfort and normal are far, far too light. You don't need those. Although my lady wife keeps telling me to put it back on comfort for her, but I keep forgetting. I'm sorry. So average fuel economy since I last filled up was about 34. That's because of a lot of town driving being done, and also it's really cold at the moment. It's about 4 degrees when I'm filming this, so obviously affected by the weather. If I were to start the car, so brake and clutch and start it, you can see we've got the dials on white at the moment, but if I flick this switch to put the lights on, you can see they go blue. You can actually configure different colours for the instruments, which I actually really like. It sounds like a complete gimmick, and you get all these little sort of tunes the car will sort of do when you turn it on and off, but I quite like that. But also the screen resolution, as you can see, is not particularly good. It's all right. I mean, it's a black and white little thing. What do you expect? But in order to go through the menus, you have to press these buttons here, which doesn't. It's not immediately obvious what you do. So we can go through and cycle through all this sort of stuff. We've actually got lane keeping assist in this car as well. Some of the buttons are down here. We've got things like hill descent control in this car, and that's traction control. We've got parking sensors all around, front and rear, which is essential actually parking in this car. Even so, my lady wife and I have bumped into things in here, which is why we've had some of the paint done on it. The glove box, it's absolutely massive. It's huge. The facelift cars, or both facelifts, 2020 and 2023, have a much smaller glove box. Lucky one, that's another manual sort of buried in there. And then we've got the famous gun holder. The only thing I can think fits in there is a Mauser gun that was used in the 1965 spoof Bond film starring Tom Adams, Licensed to Kill. Not Licensed to Kill, Licensed to Kill. And the Mauser fits very nicely in there. You've got soft touch things sort of here, soft touch here, but that still is hard. That's hard. I don't know why, and all the doors are sort of hard, but never mind. We've got fabric in here as well, which is nice. You don't get that in the £35,000 Skoda Karoq. You know, no fabric there. But unfortunately, these switches are horribly cheap. They feel nasty, these electric window switches, which is a shame. Power folding mirrors as well. This feels sort of okay, but you know, this car was £19,000 new, and you wouldn't have paid that in 2019 anyways, but you know, back in the day, like, there were huge discounts available on cars like this. So I don't know what it's worth now. I mean, somebody tell me what you think this is worth, and don't say 20 pence, because that's not funny. So see, we've got massive sort of door pockets in here as well. Piano black is actually not that bad. We've also got down here heated seats, USB input for Android and Apple CarPlay, aux input. The earlier Tivolis actually had an HDMI input in here as well, which is really bizarre, but I don't know. Then you've got two cigarette lighter sockets, or 12-volt sockets. You've got one here, one here. You've also got cup holders down here, which is fantastic. Let's shut this door again. And then you've got this huge sort of compartment in the middle, which you can actually put a first generation iPad in this slot if you really want to. Not that anyone who's got one of those anymore. And we've got this sort of faux leather on top of there. Let's turn that off because we don't need it. You can see as well on here, open the door again, there's nobody coming now. You can fit all sorts of things in here. You can actually fit a 2-litre bottle of water in that cup holder there. It's really, really practical. There's loads of space. It's very comfortable. The thing is, the previous year Ultimates have an electric driver's seat. I'd rather have a manual seat and the Android Apple CarPlay, to be honest, because the TomTom sat-nav that's on there is just not as good as anything like that. Right, let's have a look at the engine, shall we? If I've had this car just cleaned, I need to wipe the salt off that cover, don't I? So in 2019, Tivolis were available exclusively with 1.6 engines, a petrol and one we don't talk about on this channel. The petrol one, the e-XGi 160, which is 1.6 litres capacity, generates 126 horsepower. The engines were replaced in 2020 when the first facelift came out with a 1.2 to 1.5 turbo. The 1.5 turbo is the one that's still actually in the Tivolis now you can buy. 1.2 is discontinued about 2022, I think. The pre-facelift ones I think look better than the post-facelift ones at the front. I don't know why. We don't have LED headlamps, which is a big disappointment really with these cars. But there are LED daytime running lights, and we've got front fog lights on this as well. Can we even see the gearbox? Yeah, the gearbox is sort of down here. I've had the clutch slave cylinder replaced. It was the only warranty claim I've actually made on this car, and that clutch slave cylinder failed in April 2021 when the car had about 15,000 miles on the clock, which is really terrible actually. That's really the only big failure we've had with this car. Really not much else. The only other thing is the rear wiper, which is really strange. It's kind of got a complete mind of its own when you're driving along on its sort of heavy rain and things like that. It just, I don't know, it's really strange. It doesn't park properly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's very, very strange. I actually have a video that I made in 2022 from the information I gathered from the SsangYong Tivoli owners group on Facebook about problems they have with their cars. Because these cars are quite rare, there's not many around. There actually was quite a good sample size of that, and also we found out really overall people quite like their Tivoli. Some people have had more than one. There was also an elongated XLV model which actually didn't get 7 seats but got a lot more boot space. It had I think 750 litres as opposed to the 400 or so in this. I think we're just going to keep this car, to be honest. We're just going to keep it. It's not actually that hard to service it because it's a non-turbo engine this, and the oil filter is just there. There it is. Obviously it's under the warranty, so you have to get a VAT registered car to registered garage to service the car if you want to preserve the warranty, which was 150,000 miles on this car. Current Tivolis only have a 5-year warranty, so it's worth bearing in mind that actually. Well, the electric SsangYongs get 7 years. I don't know why they changed that, but well, SsangYongs are KGMs. I think I've got to call them now. But there we go. Overall then, it's been a pretty good car. I don't like the firmness of suspension. It's probably due to the really low profile tyres on this. I think we've got 18-inch wheels, and the tyres actually are quite difficult to find for this. We had to really look to find some tyres for this. We've only had those replaced once. The back tyres are still the original ones on this car. Had the front discs done as well, but the other weird failure, which I didn't even sort of bother to make a warranty claim on in this car, was I needed a new track rod end on this side. I'm not sure why. You'd expect that to be maybe on the passenger side, considering we're a right-hand drive country, but there we go. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and I suppose we'll see you again in another 6 months.